What's up everyone, Mike here. So we are in the mushroom lab and I've got a great video for you guys today. Today's video is how to make the best low-tech, no-prep grain spawn jar. Now I did a wonderful video about how to make the best no-prep grain spawn, and I'm going to link that in the description box below, and that is for if you're going to cultivate using bags, like grain spawn bags. Today's method is how to make grain spawn in jars, but like I said, if you are a bag cultivator, check in the description box below and I've got the best spawn recipe for you. But today we are going to go over a no-prep, low-tech method for making a quart grain spawn jar. Now let me just show you what I got here. We got a little bit of grain and a little bit of water just in this jar here. I'm going to talk about the exact ingredients and the exact ratio of the grain to water that I used in this recipe today and how I set this jar up. Like I said, we used minimal supplies and minimal ingredients as far as accomplishing this. This is the simplest, most low-tech way you could possibly do this. There are more reliable, more consistent ways of doing this. However, I feel like this is the best way as far as doing it, as far as low-tech is concerned. You will still have great results and fairly reliable results, because there are so many different ways. You will see recipes and instructions to make grain spawn jars on the internet, but I've been doing this for nearly a decade. I choose to actually use bags all the time now. So I don't even use this method anymore, but when I first started cultivating, I used to use this method, and I actually used this method for several years in the beginning stages of myself as a gourmet mushroom grower. I would say I probably still use this method about 2 years into me as a professional gourmet mushroom farmer. So you can be highly successful and still highly reliable with the jar method, so do not completely throw this out. But like I said, if you want a completely consistent, completely reliable method, then I do actually recommend using bags. And my recipe that I linked in the description box below is for a 5-pound bag of grain spawn. If you want to do a smaller grain spawn bag, I will actually have a video in the future for that. Unicorn Bags does sell a smaller bag that's kind of similar to the size of a quart-sized mason jar. I just don't have any of those bags at the new farm here, and as soon as I get a new shipment of those in, we will do a video on those bags. But like I said, if you're interested in making your grain spawn in a quart mason jar, this video is for you. All right, you guys ready? Let's get it. Okay everyone, so now what I want to talk about is a few of the different supplies I have here, kind of what we got going on exactly. And there is all sorts of stuff going on this lab bench, just so you guys know. I've got some liquid cultures I'm about to make in the back right there. But what we're focusing on today is right here, these grain jars. So I have prepared 6 of them already, okay? So those are ready to go and they're ready to get loaded into the pressure cooker. What we are going to do is we are going to load up this jar right here with the ingredients that we have, okay? We are going to actually add 300 milliliters of millet in there, so 300 milliliters of grain, and then we are going to add 150 milliliters of water to that, and then we will put the lid that I've already kind of pre-made on that jar, and we're going to talk about the lid a little bit and the gas exchange setup that we got going on and all that, all right? So here we go. All right, everyone, so here we go. The first step is going to be to add the right amount of grain to the jar. So I've already pre-measured 300 milliliters of millet volumetrically. Now we are adding that to the 1 quart mason jar right here. And now the next step is we are going to add the proper amount of water. So I've already pre-measured 150 milliliters of water right here volumetrically, and we are going to add that to the quart mason jar. Adding the water to the jar now. Now the next step is going to be to secure a lid on the mason jar. Now what we do is we drill the lid of the mason jar. I drilled this lid with a 3/8 drill bit, and now you're going to stuff polyfill through that hole there, and what that does is it filters out the contaminants, but it will allow enough gas exchange for the mycelium to properly breathe, and it will be able to grow. So there you go, you can see that lid all kind of done up there. Now what we do is we just put it on top of the jar, and we're going to secure it with a regular old-fashioned mason jar ring. So there we go, I'm just kind of tightening that lid on there right now, and I'm just going to show you the top of it here in a little bit so you can kind of check out the polyfill there. The next step is going to be to cover the jar lids with aluminum foil. So you can see I've got the jars right there that are already pre-done, covered with aluminum foil, and you do this to keep moisture out from the jar while you're pressure cooking it. So what you do is you either use 2 layers of regular, or you can use heavy duty aluminum foil, and like I said, just cover it up and you're ready to go into the pressure cooker. everyone. So right now I have got the pressure cooker loaded. I have 7-quart mason jars in there with the low-tech, no-prep grain spawn method. Now I've added 3 liters or 3,000 milliliters of water to the pressure cooker, and that will be plenty of water for me to cook the grain spawn jars for 2 hours. Okay, it could actually run a little bit longer if we needed it to, but we're gonna cook them 2 hours, and I would say that is the minimum time I personally like to cook grain spawn jars. Some guys might like to go as low as 90 minutes, but I never go under 2 hours. That is my personal preference and my recommendation for anybody who wants to try this method. Now I will say, some people will also say you can put less water in your pressure cooker for cooking that long, and you know that's absolutely fine. I'm sure you can. But one thing you don't want to do is you never want to run out of water while you're pressure cooking any of your grains. If you're cooking them in bags, it could melt your bags, or it could crack your jars, or all sorts of stuff. So I always like to make sure I got plenty of water in my PC. It's kind of like lube or something, you know, you can almost never have enough. You just want to make sure you never run out of water in that PC. But anyway, guys, we are going to put the pressure cookers on the burners, and we're going to let them cook for 2 hours, and we'll be right back. Alright everyone, Mike here. So we are back in the lab. I just got done cooking the grain spawn. So we're going to open up this PC, see what we got. Now there's one thing I like to do on this specific no prep low-tech grain spawn recipe, and you need to do it as soon as the pressure cooker it has cooled down and lost pressure, but you still want to do this while the jars are hot. And what this does is this will prevent the grain from clumping in the bottom of the jar. So you need to be careful, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these hot jars out of here now, and I'm going to tap them a little bit and kind of shake the grain and make sure we get it all nice and mixed up in there, kind of like fluffing up rice in a rice cooker or so. But I'm just going to shake up the jar so that way we don't have like a little hockey puck of hardened grain at the bottom when these cool, because otherwise that can happen. So this tip right now will eliminate that. So let's check this out. Okay, so as you can see, here's our grains. They are perfectly cooked. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn it upside down, and you can see it's kind of settled right there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tap it, and that will kind of break that up. Give it a little shake, and you'll see what you got there. But that's what you want to do to all your jars, okay? So you just unload all of them, give them a little shake. Like I said, be careful so you don't burn yourself. But that's just a little tip for some no prep grain spawn. And like I said, this is low tech. You want to let these things get really nice and cool, like room temperature, and then you can inoculate them with a liquid culture or an agar culture, something along those lines. You can do a grain-to-grain transfer, and I'll have many more videos on different techs like that. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button so you get more videos like this in the future. But I hope everyone found this helpful and informative, and if you did, please drop this video a like. That's really all I got for you on this one tonight. Like I said, I have many more methods for cooking grain spawn. Check out that video in the description box below for how to cook the best grain spawn ever, the no prep method. And I've got many other methods for cooking small amounts. Like I said, typically when I do a small amount like this, I don't use jars too much anymore. I like small bags, but we will have videos on those, everyone. But that's all I got for you on this one, and I will catch you guys on the next one.